True Lies and Crimes original. Title: The Fall of Mayor Angelo Jones and DeMarcus Jackson Sr. In the quiet town of Westwood, trust was everything. People looked out for each other, and everyone believed in the power of community. At the heart of this tight-knit place were two men, Angelo Jones and DeMarcus Jackson Sr. They weren't just community leaders, they were childhood friends who had risen to positions of power and influence. Together, they seemed unstoppable. But behind their charm and their carefully crafted public personas lay a dark secret. This is the story of how Angelo Jones, the beloved mayor, and DeMarcus Jackson Sr., the wealthy businessman, turned their bond of trust into a criminal empire. It's a tale of greed, betrayal, and the lengths people will go to hide the truth. And in the end, it's a lesson that even the closest friends can fall prey to their own ambition. Angelo Jones always had a way with people. He was the type of person who could walk into a room and command attention. When he ran for mayor of Westwood, his charisma and promises of progress swept through the town like wildfire. He painted a picture of a brighter future, a revitalized economy, and a community united under his leadership. The people believed in him, and they gave him their trust. Standing by his side was DeMarcus Jackson Sr., a man who had also built a name for himself in Westwood. DeMarcus was bold, confident, and ambitious. He was the kind of man who lived life on his own terms, flaunting his wealth and success at every turn. With his flashy cars, expensive suits, and high-profile lifestyle, DeMarcus was everything Angelo wasn't. Yet the two balanced each other perfectly. Where Angelo provided vision, DeMarcus provided action. Together, they formed a partnership that would shape Westwood's future. But while their public image was one of progress and prosperity, the reality was far darker. Angelo and DeMarcus weren't just working for the good of the town. They were working for themselves. Their scheme was simple in concept, but devastating in execution. Angelo, as mayor, used his power to manipulate zoning laws and steer lucrative contracts toward businesses connected to DeMarcus. In return, DeMarcus funneled money back to Angelo through a network of shell companies and false investments. They created a cycle of corruption that siphoned money from the town's coffers into their own pockets. To the outside world, it all looked legitimate. New projects were being announced, businesses were moving in, and jobs were being promised. But the truth was that the deals were built on lies. Contracts were inflated, documents were forged, and property values were manipulated. The businesses that tried to resist were pushed out, crushed under the weight of Angelo and DeMarcus's influence. For years, they got away with it. Angelo's charm shielded him from suspicion, while DeMarcus's wealth dazzled the town. But greed is a dangerous thing, and it wasn't long before cracks began to show. Angelo's personal life became a source of gossip. He fathered 4 children with different women in town, each of them connected in some way to his dealings. Meanwhile, DeMarcus's flashy lifestyle began to draw unwanted attention. People started to wonder how his business ventures could support such extravagance. It was Lisa Harper, a small business owner, who finally brought their empire down. Lisa had been a victim of one of their schemes, forced into signing a predatory contract that left her struggling to keep her business afloat. Frustrated and desperate, she began digging into the details of the contract, and what she found shocked her. The terms were deliberately designed to fail, and the profits all funneled back to DeMarcus's companies. Lisa wasn't alone. As she spoke with other business owners, a pattern began to emerge. Contracts that seemed fair on the surface were riddled with hidden clauses that benefited Angelo and DeMarcus. Forged signatures, inflated values, and fraudulent accounts pointed to a conspiracy that ran deeper than anyone had imagined. Lisa's courage in coming forward sparked an investigation that rocked Westwood to its core. State authorities uncovered a trail of corruption that implicated both Angelo and DeMarcus. Their empire of lies crumbled as investigators found evidence of racketeering, fraud, and embezzlement. It became clear that the prosperity they had promised was a facade, built on the exploitation of the very people who had trusted them. The arrests of Angelo Jones and DeMarcus Jackson Sr. were a turning point for Westwood. The mayor, once seen as a symbol of hope, was charged with conspiracy, racketeering, and fraud. DeMarcus, the man who had flaunted his wealth without care, faced similar charges. Their trial became a public spectacle, exposing the depths of their betrayal. In court, the evidence was overwhelming. Witness after witness testified to the harm they had caused. Families bankrupted, businesses destroyed, and a community left in shambles. Both men were convicted and sentenced to long prison terms, their partnership dissolved in disgrace. Westwood was left to rebuild, not just its economy, but its faith in leadership. The scars left by Angelo and DeMarcus's betrayal ran deep. But in the wake of their downfall, there was also hope. Lisa Harper became a symbol of resilience and justice, a reminder that even in the face of corruption, the truth can prevail. The story of Angelo Jones and DeMarcus Jackson Sr. is a cautionary tale. It's a reminder that power and trust are fragile, and that even the closest friendships can be corrupted by greed. In the end, the truth came out, as it always does, and justice was served. But for Westwood, the cost of that justice was a hard lesson learned. This has been True Lies and Crimes, The Fall of Mayor Angelo Jones and DeMarcus Jackson Sr. Thank you for listening, and remember, sometimes the people we trust the most have the darkest secrets. Until next time, stay vigilant.